Here4Views early point control, getting just a little bit of space quite early. Obviously, we missed the build up to the fight, but both teams go for a bit of a mirror here, except Perlif on the Reaper, no Vendetta for Here4Views, so it's pretty interesting. Susie already forced. Peekaboo just looking to get as much value as he can from that rail early doors, not able to, just misses the shot close onto Johan, but Johan's already built so much of this Kitsune charge as Rod FD is picked.
Yeah, Rod FD going down early in that fight just doesn't help certain situations, but they're able to fight back in soon. And yeah, Johan having this Kitsune neared is going to be a massive boon for Here4Views as they look to lock down the point once more. But Central Apan staging towards this objective once again. This Reaper going to be keeping him at bay, and Tomex, Peekaboo, and Rod FD all fall in quick succession. Crandop taking over the map so far. This Zarya looks near unstoppable.
I mean, that's the nature of Zarya. Once you get the ball rolling, it turns into, well, quite an avalanche real quick, to be honest. And now Here4Views, they have 3 ults available. You're going to expect they might either start with a grab or the Kitsune. It looks like a grab angle, though, as Crandop's staging very, very close.
Yeah, definitely taking the forward. And Natsuki just coming in and finishing off Tomex, and once again sent packing RVQ. And the best part about this is you look at the ult cycle, they've got nothing on the board and already up to 80% here for Here4Views, and the only thing they've used is Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, Here4Views, they have 2 ults available at the moment. This beat is going to come online for Natsuki, and Rod FD's only 75% of the way. They're approximately Central Apan's coming up on that grab, but Here4Views is just going to play first.
Yeah, and they have the ability to, without the ult online for VanirQuick, they can't go forwards quick enough. That grab is going to keep him away, in Kurama and Rod FD combining to make sure that the point does fall to VanirQuick in the end, and that's very good for them, looking at pretty much everything coming online at the same time. Perhaps they'll be able to hold this for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of magic there from the Vendetta is just able to clutch up, and now VanirQuick, they're in a good spot of power. They have 4 ults available. Perlif does have that Blossom, but the beat is huge from Natsuki.
Yeah, Sound Barrier traded though in return, and Crandop gets taken out initially. Now heading back towards the objective, making sure it doesn't fall back into the hands of Here4Views, leaving them with only a Blossom and Pulse Bomb in the back pocket. This Blossom could be big, but Peekaboo as well, we've seen on several occasions, could go huge with this overclock.
Yeah, and Peekaboo kind of has to go huge with the overclock, because that was a number of ults used for VanirQuick. Sure, you won the fight, but now you need to make sure you don't fumble the next one, because the ult economy could be at risk at the moment. Here4Views, they have double DBS out, but notably, Johan is coming up on that Kitsune as Peekaboo looks to play early with the clock.
Yep, overclock goes in, but not really able to do much. Shots down Hello though, and both DPS ults are invested by Here4Views. Natsuki falls as well to Kurama, and now VQ looking to stage back in towards the objective. The Kitsune Rush is kited well as well, and Peekaboo down to a very low HP value, but just about able to stay alive, and they're going to force Crandor back away. Round 2, this outside of the map. Rod FD potentially looking for a boot onto the Zarya, but no, decides to stay alive and fight back into this grab, though, for Crandor. Could go massive, and you don't have a beat to nullify it, and Tomex left the only one standing outside, so a valiant effort to try and get back in for VanirQuick, but Here4Views, after an early domination, able to clean things up at the end.
Yeah, I mean, VanirQuick, they used a lot of ults in that one fight, but Peekaboo comes up huge with the overclock, manages to shut down the Blossom from Perlif, which is great, but it felt like VanirQuick were just on the back foot the whole time. Peekaboo was like 1 HP the entire fight, until Rod FD managed to make his way over and give some amp heal to his Sojourn, but VanirQuick, they just couldn't close out the fight quick enough. It left Here4Views stabilized. Crandop was eventually able to get that grab online, and then, well, that's all she wrote at the end. But on Control Center, it might be a little bit different. I think the Vendetta might get a little bit more value than the Reaper on a map like this, because not only is Vendetta just, well, probably stronger than Reaper in the current meta, but it's a lot closer range for Vendetta to really get on the backline easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So we go into the second objective of Control Center. Kurama just looking for any way into this backline, tries to get aggressive onto the Reaper and able to do a lot of damage. Perlif just having to wait this one out as the poke comes out. It's pretty low, but able to stabilize at the moment. Peekaboo just getting some poke in as well, and it looks like VQ have a main control over the objective now as Here4Views look to aggress from that server room and get forwards, but not been able to do quite as much as they would have wanted to, and Krandorf's under pressure here, just about able to back away and stay alive, but you can see that Central Apan has full charge on this Zarya. Still look to get in here as Elias now looking to get some pressure into the backline. Looking for poke for the moment, but surely once an opportunity arrives, and speaking of opportunities arriving, Kurama able to take down Herlif, and Natsuki falls as well. Kurama trading out Yoham, and here we go. VanirQuick, after a interesting start, they're able to stabilize more, and they're able to gain full control here of Control Center. Still cautious. Just trying to get forwards once again. Peekaboo looking to stop and engage from Elias. Pulse Bomb goes wide, and Yoham has invested this Kitsune Rush. They're not able to build off the back of it, though, and coast side is the sanctuary for VanirQuick at the moment. Tomic's down solo, and eventually Elias takes him down, but health goes down to Rod FD, and it's a big grab, but potentially a bigger one for Krandorf. Elias finishing off 3, and the 2 combining for Here4Views. Central Apan just not able to capitalize on the grab for VanirQuick, but 4 ults coming back, they should be doing pretty well. We get back into this one now. VanirQuick trying to get forwards once more. Rolifd just looking to peek round as have to make sure Kurama doesn't go down early. Beat engage from Here4Views, but Peekaboo can just sit in the spawn and try and click heads. Kurama with the Sundering Blade as well, taking down Natsuki. The rest will fall soon, and surely VanirQuick take control of the objective, and that they do. Central Apan sitting on the point, letting the rest of the team do the work as Yoham goes down, and that's a good stagger. Even with the Kitsune Rush near once again for Here4Views, that they're having a few problems here.
VanirQuick, they still have this Kitsune. Tomek still has the Kitsune Rush available. Here4Views, they have a few of their own. Yoham has the Kitsune coming up, but VanirQuick just playing first, playing early.
Yeah, they go early and they get the advantage off the back. More, and Herlif is going to follow here. They've managed to flip the objective, have Here4Views, but they've got to go quickly if they are going to get anything out of this flip. Elias trying to touch back, split back to VanirQuick's side. Yoham with the Kitsune Rush onto the objective, so they're not out of it yet. Pulse Bomb goes wide from Elias. Nothing doing there with that ultimate, but rest of the team's still here, and no ultimates getting close for VanirQuick just yet. Herlif taking down Central Apan. This might not just be over. Here4Views coming up with a miracle touch, able to flip the objective off the end of that Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, but VanirQuick, they're coming up on a few ults right now. Rod FD pretty much has the beat ready to go. Natsuki obviously nowhere near. Peekaboo coming up on this clock as well. Here4Views, it's really on Krandorf's shoulders again to come up with that huge ult like he did at the end of last round. But with VanirQuick basically having 3 ults on the table is a tall task for Here4Views at the moment.
Yeah, on paper it's in the favor of VanirQuick, but game isn't paid on paper. Now they look for this grab and overclock. The grab on the other side, but they don't have a beat to match Rod FDs, and now it falls into the favor of Peekaboo, taking down Yoham before the rest of the team falls once more. Elias has been able to survive, so perhaps a touch for the Tracer, but they're already looking for this. Able to blink onto the objective, but force the recall early as well. Rest of the team looking to hunt this Tracer down before anything else can happen. Central Apan able to take down that Tracer, and now it's just a fall in of these Here4Views players before they can get anything else. The Blossom gets one onto Rod FD, but Tomic shuts it down immediately, and Kran can't touch. So it's gonna go to a third of Garden, and it's been close so far. Looking forward to seeing this third one.
Yeah, I mean, Control Center, again, I did feel like Kurama was able to just get a little bit more value there than It was able to on Lijiang. Am I tripping? What's the first point called? Lijiang Night Market. Oh my goodness, Lijiang Night Market. It just felt like he was able to get a little bit more value on Control Center right there. But a bit more consistent value is maybe the best way to phrase it. To be fair, Tomix coming in at the end as well, absolutely huge. And it just felt like VanirQuick, they just had more ults online in the final fight, which is the fight that ended up mattering. You know, Here4Views burned so much to get that initial control of the objective away from when VanirQuick were 99%. Just had nothing left in the tank, and the beat advantage in particular is what was the death knell in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now staging forwards on Garden, we can see these two teams struggling for the objective. An early pick from Peekaboo. Same Peekaboo around the corner, finds a second as well. Trading through, and Crandorf is soon to follow. Rest of the team looking to fight forwards here. It's only Natsuki and Elias, and they flip the map almost. Hiding, cowering towards the spawn of VanirQuick as they look to avoid being taken out and staggered.
And that's the problem with having no hit scan. Here4Views, they just have no hit scan presence. Peekaboo can just kind of has free reign, no pressure from the other side, particularly at the start of fights.
Yeah, now looking for a little boot from FD. I see you doing that. Goes down low, but able to get back to get healed up. And Kurama fell off the map. 5v4 turns into 5v3 soon, and now they look to stay in this somehow. Surely, off the back of that misplay from Kurama, they're not going to be able to do much. In fact, they only get to about 30%.
Natsuki getting a nice little cheeky double kill. And this map is annoying for Vendetta because you can fall off the map. Well, early pick from Yoham, double ding onto Peekaboo. And Yoham, incredible so far for Here4Views. Real starlet right now on this flag spot on the Kiriko. 76% of the way to the Kitsune rush. Both Lucios still slowly building their beats at the moment, but Crandop has an advantage in this grab. Maybe Here4Views will just look to farm this Kitsune out, play slow, and then go in with Yoham's Kitsune early.
Yeah, Yoham's been building these Kitsunes really quickly, and now the first one on the table already in play as Herlev takes down Rod FD, and the rest of the team once again follow. The difficulty now is making sure that you can play back into this. With Crandop having all of this charge, it's so difficult to come back into a fight that you've already lost, as Central Apan looks to get back on level terms, but Grab being here as well is going to be difficult to fight into.
Kitsune advantage is there for VanirQuick though. Tomix has that Kitsune ready to go. But yeah, like you said, the grab advantage is going to be a problem. Rod FD doesn't have to beat the match.
Yeah, and they go for the grab early, takes one down, Peekaboo falls, but rest of the team's still here to follow up as they look to maybe make use of this Kitsune, which was the dying blessing of Tomix. Rest of the team now still trying to fight forward. Now the grab is invested, both beats invested as well. Tomix has been able to return, and now Peekaboo trying to fight in. Herlev is Death Blossoming something in the middle of the map, but not able to get anything off the back of it. The dangerous thing now, though, is despite not having many ults on the board, Here4Views having 90% is going to be difficult for VanirQuick to hold, with the fact that they only have 2 ults on charge.
Yeah, they only have 2 ults charged, but Yohan doesn't have that much of a lead over Tomix, given that he uses Kitsune a whole fight early. I mean, that lead is just opened a little bit. Yohan must land on a nice little bit of poke right there, but Herlev committing that Blossom at the end, I think that was a little bit of a mistake, because now VanirQuick, they do have that double DPS ult available, but that's an early pick onto Peekaboo, and that changed the whole story.
Oh, we say about the spam not being there to be able to take out Peekaboo, but it's the supports that end up making the difference. Sundering Blade tries to get something from Kurama, but it's not going to do that much. Rod FD, though, has managed to get the diff on Natsuki. Both supports have died here. Kurama able to stabilize, but to be taken down to stabilize, but for how long? Crandall falling. Massive pick from Tomix. And Central Apan taking the objective back into the hands of VQ. They do not want to let this slip.
Yeah, Peekaboo has the overclock again, and it's kind of it's kind of the story of point 1 at the moment. Yoham, or there's a strong ult available for Here4Views, and it's on the shoulders of Peekaboo to come up clutch. Tomix can maybe build this Kitsune in time, but it's going to be close because Here4Views know that Tomix is flying behind Yoham, and they just start first with the Kitsune.
Yeah, Overclock should zone them out. Down so low is a couple of those players, but not able to find a kill off of the Kitsune Rush or the Overclock. Both teams still at 5v5. Tomix able to invest the Kitsune Rush, but not at the trade of Kurama. Natsuki being taken down by Central Apan is going to help, though. Point flip back to the side of Here4Views, but immediately switch back into the favor of VanirQuick, and that B engage is going to help them massively. Despite that grab, they're able to save their Alliance from that pulse. It doesn't matter. They're able to get back in. Alliance gets one, but how much more can you do on the Tracer? Able to touch Natsuki, just trying to stall the point, but not for long. Rest of the team tries to engage. Alliance goes down to Peekaboo, and out of the depths of that first objective, VanirQuick fight back, earning the 2-1 and stabilizing their season with it. That it felt like they needed some momentum their way after, as we would have said going into this, having lost the last couple of games, a close one versus SR Peak Check after the game against Starbits X Hypnos didn't go their way, but now a bit of rest, and it looks like they've been able to shine off the back of the pressure here and take this first map just about from the claws of Here4Views.
Yeah, I mean, Here4Views, they got off to a good start, but it never felt like it was really out of the question for VanirQuick. The first point, it wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it was really close. If VanirQuick had just closed out the fight off of the back of Peekaboo's overclock a little bit quicker, then honestly, that map is theirs. Or it's a 2-0 to VanirQuick on that map. Or, well, you know, hypothetically speaking, it's a 2-0, right? They would have won first point, is what I'm saying. So it was very, very close. And I think VanirQuick, they did have the advantage, I think, on all 3 points. They just got a little bit unlucky on the first one, if I'm being honest. But to be honest, for VanirQuick, I mean, the second richest man in Estonia, Tomex, has just been absolutely crazy on this turf. But the Suzus in that final fight were game-saving. Lands an absolutely massive Suzu when Yoham goes for the Kitsune. Even though Yoham has been getting the better of him in that Kitsune building, I mean, Tomex is more than making up for it right now. Lands that Suzu onto Karama. Karama does eventually go down a couple seconds later, unfortunately, because, I mean, Elias on the side for Here4Views is going absolutely crazy. He mentioned it. There's not much more that this Tracer can do, but the Suzu, for it to negate the pulse as well, when it was chucked in by Elias in that grab, it just didn't find anything. The immortality effect from the Suzu was just absolutely massive, so credit to Tomex on that map in particular.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen many more clutch bubbles from Central Apan going into that fight. The grab from Crandop combined with that pulse bomb, just able to survive that. But I believe we do have a second map on the cards. I believe we are going to Numbani from what I have seen, and here we go. Yep, we are going to Numbani. Here4Views pick, obviously, having lost the previous map, and it takes away Blizzard World from VanirQuick, which has been their standout map so far this season. But Numbani, not something that I've seen very often at all. Not the most known pick in the world for Hybrid, but obviously a couple of more known Hybrid maps are out of this map pool in the first place, so to Numbani we go.
I mean, Numbani is like, it's a very notable D.Va map. It's really, really good for D.Va, so I wouldn't be surprised to see D.Va get some play on this map. Maybe we'll see a Winston. It's, you know, it's like a divey focused Hybrid map, right? Even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it plays that way, it definitely is supposed to be played that way, if that makes sense. Taking away the Blizzard World, it is another good D.Va map. To be honest, I don't think they're trying to deny the D.Va per se, because you know, Blizzard World and Numbani, they're both good for the same kind of comps. It feels mid-tail of the map. If you wanted to try and mix things up, maybe go a little bit off script, go a little bit rogue, go for a little bit of a different comp. So I think this will just be quite a standard D.Va mirror, to be honest, unless Here4Views decide to really switch it up and go for the D.Va ban first.
Yeah, the high ground control should be everything here, but VQ banning the Zarya after the ERE is banned out from Here4Views, and we've seen the ERE played multiple times by VQ in the past on maps such as Numbani, not particularly Numbani, but maps such as Numbani. We've seen that ERE come out alongside the Baptiste, alongside the Juno as well, I believe I remember correctly. So taking that off the table and forcing perhaps a bit more conventional of a support backline here for VanirQuick. Oh, why have you done this to us? Come on.
I don't know, the Diva ban, not the Diva ban, I saw Diva get picked, I wish Diva was banned. The Alari ban, sorry, I don't know how I really feel about it, to be honest. I don't think Alari is like, Alari's fine on this map, like, it is good, but like, I feel like there's maybe other things you could have banned, but I say that I don't really know. If you want to play the Diva, then I guess you could just not like ban really whatever you don't want to play against, to be honest. So I feel like that's kind of what the thought process has been here for views, but I don't know, man. I think there's no reason to switch things up, but maybe it's a little bit personal bias. Maybe I would have liked to see a little bit more of an adventurous ban than the Alari. The Zarya ban, I think it's fine. I don't think that either team was looking to play Zarya on this map anyway. I don't think it's a great Zarya map outside of that third point, but maybe VanirQuick are just banning it because of how good Zarya could be on that third point alone.
Yeah, Peekaboo now on this Emre, which has seen him actually step away from on multiple occasions, so testing out the waters once more. Bastion on the other side, not something we see usually, but Natsuki on the cat is hiding in the shadows. The AC-130 has been spotted, and Central Apan trying to make sure that that damage can be nullified as much as possible. Instead, they try and collapse onto Krandop, and that's exactly what they're able to do. Kurama following in on that Tracer now away from the Vendetta as just from the skies, Herluf able to take down Peekaboo, but the rest of the team seems to have everything covered as Time, who's now in for Alliance,
Nowhere he's gonna spawn
follows
camp.
them round to the spawn. Oh no, please don't do this to him.
We're not letting them leave. There's 3 spawn camping.
This is dangerous.
This is ridiculous. It's views. They're here for views.
Yeah. Professional gameplay.
I don't even know what to say over this. This is ridiculous. Like, how do you have 3 people spawn camping too?
The thing is, in the meantime, they're just able to take down Kran's having the worst time in the world on point. The suffering of Krandorp versus the jubilation of Herluf.
We saw it on the first fight as
hiding as well. Oh, he's been found. Tries to Susie to get away, able to get the TP. Hide and seek there for Johan, but able to survive. Now, just back into this turret form. Herluf is hunting people down. Once again, they try and get onto Peekaboo, but Peekaboo is able to take down Natsuki, so at least one of the Hasslers is able to be taken down. Herluf falls as well, so should only be Time in the backline. And once again, Krandop just really having a rough moment on that Diva, while the rest of the team is not fully trolling, but like, come on.
Yeah, Krandop's having a bit of a miserable time at the moment. Goes over to the Has. I don't know if you can have a much better time on that, if I'm being honest. Like, maybe you have more kill threat and, like, explosiveness, I suppose. But honestly, not really, considering Diva can just Thanos snap someone out of thin air with those boosters and the micro missiles. But we've just seen it. Natsuki and Herluf take this coast side, and then Krandop just gets blown up. Krandop going with them this time. I think that's a bit of a smart decision to negate the amount of angles that VanirQuick have on them, but now VanirQuick have ultimates instead of angles.
Oh, Herluf's coming in, trying to get something in, but the Kitsune rush invested by Tomex and Beat as well. Just make sure that they are going to have the survivability here. Johan almost building a Kitsune of his own, but taken down 1% away by Kurama. Traded out onto Tomex, but Krandorp following once more. Pick for once for Krandorp, but the rest of the team just not able to capitalize. Time taking down Peekaboo though. It's not over yet, but Central Apan puts pay to that, and Kurama just about survives to die for Natsuki.
This strat is just like not working. The DM is there to help Kurama escape just a little bit. Central Apan still has this remake. Peekaboo has the override protocol. Johan does have the Kitsune though, so that is a bit of an advantage the Here4Views have. But the way they've been playing, I don't think they're going to be even in the Kitsune to use it.
Yeah, Kitsune now invested. They try and use this turret form to good effect, but not given any players to attack are the team of Here4Views. And Peekaboo shoots him out of the sky. Natsuki falls from the air. The cat grounded immediately. Central Apan taking down Herluf as well, and now surely the rest of the team follows. Johan taken down. Time finds one with a pulse. Should be something to try and get back in with, but stick from the other trace is huge from Kurama. Big plays, taking down the opposing trace. The time runs out for Here4Views. This is overtime runs into being still there. My word, that's ridiculous. And now they get back just in time, but Tommy's are taking them down one by one. They try to get back to the point. Nothing that they can do, and what a hold from VanirQuick.
Absolutely vile from the DPS of VanirQuick there. Peekaboo starts off by landing the override protocol heavy shot onto Natsuki, which is a challenge unto itself because you have to hit a cat, right? Cat is so good at just getting in the Emre's face and honestly taking down the override protocol. It's so difficult to hit a flying target with that ultimate. You know, be it, you know, a Juno hovering left to right near no walls or a cat flying in your face. It's difficult to hit. And then, I mean, the pulse bomb, that was absolutely filthy from Kurama right there onto time. Won't be happy with that one, getting that little tracer gap. But you can just see how much Here4Views are struggling by the stat line. Natsuki doesn't have a stat over 1,000. Yeah, 6-7, yeah, whatever that means. But and Natsuki doesn't have a stat over 1,000. Yoham doesn't even have an elimination. It feels like they just...
Kurama at the same time is 18-0, by the way.
Yeah, Kurama's just going
ridiculous.
like... he's absolute Thanos in the lobby right now, lobby admin at the moment. And it just feels... it feels like after the very, very intense leisure and they just wanted like a map off. That's what it feels like for Views at the moment. VanirQuick, they're like, oh, you know what, we'll just take a free full hold, you know, pretty simple. But it isn't over yet. They did get 86.5% on that objective. So there is a world where Here4Views can maybe hold, but I don't know. They play still such an unconventional comp that I don't know if it'll work because VanirQuick can just build 5 ults and win.
I love this, but also at the same time, they're living by it and eventually dying by it at the moment. Still Natsuki trying to keep up with it. That's going to be healed up by that carry, just to make sure that the Bastion stays alive. And now going around the objective, lingering a Rosie with the rest of the team, trying to get in behind them somehow. And Kurama's going to have the first death of the map to it, not able to get away on the Tracer, being hunted down by that attack helicopter of Here4Views. Now Natsuki maybe overextending, but no, Tomex and Peekaboo taken out. Rod FT is able to find one onto Natsuki, and Central Apan still trying to hold into this. Now the mech's gone though, surely they're going to be heading back to try and get in again off the back of Kurama, but not to be the case. And time making up for a little bit of a diff at the end of that defensive side for VQ.
Yeah, well, still has a little bit of work to do considering how filthy that pulse bomb was, but does have the pulse bomb of his own coming up, Grand Bomb coming up on this downpour as well. VanirQuick, they're not really close to ending at the moment. Yoham again, look how much ult percentage he has, and he's building it even further. Gets the pick onto Peekaboo, and Tomex is probably going to go down here. There it is, time gets the kill. And Natsuki's just carting Hurlif about, and there's not much VanirQuick can do about it at the moment. And this is what I was saying, the map's not done yet. You need to not get overconfident, because this is exactly where you might get overconfident. You're playing into a goofy play style. You've managed to full hold them. You're thinking, oh, this is easy. They play laughing in VC, but now is not the time to let it slip because you're tilted if you let this map slip away from you.
Peekaboo's gone onto the Echo, which might be able to engage this flying target a little bit better. That lifeline also means that Natsuki's not going to build up the catnap very quickly. The one job really to make sure that Hurlif can get this damage in. Now as they try to engage once more, VanirQuick, they've built some ultimates here. The downpour does connect onto Central Apan and not able to get away from that is Central Apan, but the bomb finds two. Time's able to get a stick onto Rod FD, but once again is going to be fearing Kurama, but no, Hurlif's able to help him out. Peekaboo still trading out here, and it's 2 on the objective. They got to get back quickly, do Here4Views. Time's still here, and time to take back the point potentially, but Rod FD now hunting down the Tracer as the recontest not able to be taken. The C9, potentially, they did have a Kitsune rush there as well, but it was a good job by Rod FD to dissuade the Tracer from touching again, and good job, good luck being the color caster here, as the analysis now falls down to you of that map, Skynate.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is going fine for Here4Views until they just kind of let it slip with the dying to the bomb there, because VanirQuick, they were running out of time. The clock was running thin, and we saw Yoham come back with Kitsune Rush. I don't know if Tomex even had his online yet, because of just the way the fights were panning out. It felt like we saw Natsuki carry Hurlif around the flank side through main to kind of pincer VanirQuick on the coast. And VanirQuick, they were kind of getting caught out by that quite a lot. It genuinely felt like that was Here4Views' defense to lose until that point. Because, yeah, I don't think Tomix had that Kitsune ready to go. If Time had just got the touch on the point, that honestly could have looked very, very different. Unfortunately for Here4Views, it doesn't really pan out their ways. They do go for Suravasa as the next map pick, but it's reverse sweep territory needed for Here4Views at the moment, which is a tall task considering, you know, they couldn't win on the Goofy comp as close as they did come, and they couldn't win on, you know, a bit more of a standard standard map, standard comps really being played, you know, like Zarya, Reaper, even though they didn't have a traditional hit scan, which I think is a problem at the moment for Here4Views, because they're the closest thing they've had to a traditional hit scan DPS has been Hurlip on the Bastion, which, you know, let's get serious, right? It's not exactly
a flying Bastion isn't standard.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's not exactly real. You know what I mean? I mean, it did force VanirQuick to change things up. It did force Peekaboo to get off the hit scan, go on the Echo, which did end up paying dividends for them in the end. Managed to put a lot of pressure onto Natsuki in particular, who, you know, if your cat's under pressure, your Bastion isn't going to be able to find as much value, because Bastion without the cat is, I mean, there's a reason Bastion doesn't get played right now, right? He's just too immobile, too tanky, and Diva just negates too much of his damage at the moment. But Suravasa, hopefully we see a little bit of a return, to the status quo in terms of what is getting played at. The Zarya ban is gone for VanirQuick. We could maybe see a Diva ban if they want to keep mixing things up. We saw Crandop go over to the Hazard eventually, and it seemed like he was a little bit more comfortable on that throughout the back half of the attack and the defense for Here4Views. But we'll have to wait and see what the teams do end up going for bans wise.
Yeah, it meant a lot of the time that VanirQuick couldn't engage onto Crandop as much as they were doing on the defense. With how split Here4Views was on the attacking side, they had Crandop going one way with Time and Yoham, and then the other two were just flying around the corner, and they were able to pretty much just dive and get Crandop into a corner, trying to make sure that he couldn't get away from the rest of the team. And I'm not surprised to see the Diva banned here. Obviously, you wouldn't want to play that into a Zarya anyway, and we could potentially see Kran come back on that, as they had some favor, a bit more favor, you would say, on Li Jiang Tower to start off with, running that Diva composition. But Tracer banned out from VQ, and we've already seen two players on Here4Views play the Tracer already. Not this map, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Diva ban, I think is reasonable, right? Like you said, there was a bit more... Sorry, this faded. What is going on? Crocodile. But it did feel like Crandop was maybe getting the better Central Apan in the Zarya mirror. At times, it did feel Central Apan, of course, really, really good at the Diva, really good at the Zarya as well. Tomix, I imagine that is just for a speed ring out of spawn. We'll probably go back to the Kuroko when that has been done. Here4Views sticking with that Bastion, unsurprising. Hurlip on the team. Elias, though, doesn't seem to be getting off the sim.
Yeah, it's going to be a sim stuck for Elias as they look to fight forwards and contest this high ground control. Karama putting pay to that for the moment, but the TP out means that they're going to go over to the other side. They're a bit staggered getting there, though, so not a full force fronting up onto the other side of the objective to VanirQuick. Now, Peekaboo going down a little bit low, but Crandop, you can say the same about, and now Karama looking to engage, but no, Hurler shuts it down with that turret form, and now looking to do more damage to the side of VanirQuick. Still able to take the objective is going to be Here4Views as VQ back up and try and lick their wounds and make it out of this one with no more casualties.
I mean, that's the problem with engaging onto a Bastion that has turret form, right? Particularly with the, you know, the Kiriko Lucio meta, the Bastion can just get amp sped away, or can just get Suzu but Crandop. Hello?
Yeah,
maybe get a little bit too big for his boost there. The back cap comes through as well.
Yeah, a bit of an overextension from the tank of Here4Views, and now they're able to collapse onto the rest of the team. Obviously, the point still stands as the first thing that you take, considering the nature of Flashpoint. You want it to go quickly, but Crandop maybe just a little bit of an overextension. That's going to give Grav lead over to Central Apan.
Yeah, but I mean, I've referenced this Kitsune building difference multiple times. But look at Johan, like so close to Kitsune already, but has it pretty much. And Tomek still is a little bit far away from it. While FD is leading in the beat charge, but Here4Views are just going to start with Kitsune with the turret form. This is going to laser people down.
Oh, and they're able to kite it though pretty effectively. They're able to get away and does a really good job there to stay away from that turret form bastion inside of the Kitsune Rush Rod. FD trying to get away, makes it to the health pack just in time. Now that artillery form invested from Herluf, but not going to find anything as they look to recontest onto the objective. 54% now for Here4Views, pretty even at the moment. Randall able to come in here, but now the Kitsune Rush is built for VanirQuick and they look to fight forwards. Symmetrical trying to break them up, but not going to be the case. That grab as well could be devastating, but Central Apan's not given the time to engage on the back of it. Rod FD in the beat runs out. Peekaboo finds one with the overclock, but considering the investments there, Here4Views doing really well to stop that from going into VanirQuick's favor.
Yeah, but it's not like Here4Views invest nothing. They mirror the beat. Sure, they don't have the Kitsune, which is already 60% of the way there, by the way. But they don't. They invest the beat and the sim wall, and those are two very, very fight-defining ultimates. As strong as beat is, as strong as Kitsune is, sim wall can just shut down so much value. And Central Apan under so much pressure already, taking out my Herluf immediately. And this might be all she wrote for VanirQuick on this first point before it even starts.
Yeah, looks like it will be. Peekaboo getting one onto Natsuki, but that's going to be all they get. Tomek's driven away by Krandorp, and a little bit of an anchor here for Here4Views as they look to claw their way back into this best of 5 versus 3 series. Suravasa looks to be going a little bit better than their first pick of Numbani.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we discussed the Numbani, to be honest. I think that's a bit of an anomaly in terms of what was going on. They just got bored, I think. But Krandorp has this grab ready to go. Kurama does have this Sundering Blade. Looking for it maybe over the top. That's a good TP out, though.
Yeah, and Johan off the TP, able to take down Peekaboo. Rest of the team caught in the grab, but at the end of the day, they all fall down like a house of cards, and VanirQuick going to be forced back to the spawn once more. Here4Views take the second objective.
Yeah, and this has Vendetta comp. It's kind of struggling at the moment. Central Apan did get off that Zarya, but honestly, I don't like. I mean, I understand why, because you know the Bastion is going to be a problem, and it's hard to play into that Symmetra as well as so much frontline pressure that Here4Views are providing. But this seems to be struggling as well. Because I'm going for the over the top Sundering Blade, but maybe stuck on the environment a little bit. But double kill out of nowhere.
That's huge from Kurama, and now they look to take that aggression elsewhere. Krandorp following after the rest of the team, and a scythe down from Kurama, the star of the show there off the back of the Sundering Blade. VQ able to take the objective right back into their hands.
Excellent by VQ there, excellent Sundering Blade to just get to the main members of Here4Views that have been really popping off this map, Herluf and Johan. But now the goal here for VQ is to just try and bait out as many ults as you can. Try kite out, live, get as much percentage as you can, because you're not going to be able to win this fight. But unless Kurama does that!
Kurama spin to win on the Vendetta. Central Apan finding another one as well, and somehow, when it really looked like it wasn't in their favor, they managed to force out Johan's Kitsune Rush as well. So absolutely massive fight from VanirQuick, and they look to take this fight aggressively and stop them from being able to touch now here.
This is great from VQ, and that just goes to show you can have all the ults in the world you want, but solo plays like that will always come up top, always come up on top. Elias does have this symbol which will be used to get Here4Views onto the point, but the concern from Tomex is huge.
Yeah, and they booped off and force a TP away
from
Johan 1-for-1. They don't get the touch, and the rest of the team, I mean, they do fall. I think they would have fallen eventually, but once again, Here4Views. C9s are ranking up a little bit.
Yeah, that's one on Numbani now, one on Suravasa. It's not looking great for the point touching skills of Here4Views at the moment, but they do have 3 ults available. Have the beat from Natsuki as well as Herluf's artillery strike and Elias's sim wall. You'd imagine they use one of the DPS ults to get on the point right now, but VanirQuick, they have a few ults of their own, and they could just look for the beat engage, but it might be a bit risky with Natsuki having a beat of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. Down 4 invested early. It's going to be shut out by this wall, but Eventually, Crandorp's going to fall, and surely the rest of the team follows from here. Beam down, though, from the 2 DPS in Here4Views, looking to get back into this one, but no, they back away in the end, and now here's the chase from VanirQuick, looking to hunt them down. They lose the tank, though. Central App, they're following back in with this, with the sound barrier. They've been able to take back a wave, a tidal wave here for Here4Views. There's a bit too much aggression from VanirQuick, looking to take those final kills. Proves to be their downfall.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you fail to get the kill on the Lucio, and then after that, don't get the kill on the Symmetra, the call needs to be made to Kai out there, and VanirQuick, they don't do it, and Here4Views capitalize. Maybe Natsuki's beat was a little bit of an overinvestment, but better safe than sorry. But now, problem is, VQ have a beat advantage.
Yeah, it should be used here for the grab, but obviously it could be used for an engage as well. They don't know what's online. Overclock invested with a mirrored Kitsune on the other side, and that's going to be it for Central Apan. Immediately, the beat's late, and it doesn't come in to save the tank. The rest of the team trying to do what they can to make the best use of it, but it doesn't help them in the end. Kurama going down, and immediately you can see they're just trying to kite and get away and make sure that there's no more picks to follow.
Yeah, the beat was just late from Rod FD there. The decision needs to be made a lot quicker, and now Crandop has this grab, and there's nothing to even answer for VanirQuick. They didn't even get the point flip, so no percentages going. It is taking in Here4Views' favor, and this is looking ropey for VanirQuick at the moment.
Kitsune rush from Tomex, and there's a couple of players stuck in that grab, taken down immediately. Didn't even need the artillery blast from Perlev to take them down. At the end of the day, it's just going to be a stall from Kurama, and now on to the next objective for Here4Views as they take a 2-1 lead on Sorevasa.
Yeah, and that fight where VanirQuick, they burn the overclock, they burn the beat. If you win the fight, sure, okay, that's fine. Yeah, maybe you don't have beat for grab now, maybe you use tools for one, but at least you've won the fight. That was worst case scenario for VanirQuick, and now they're going to this final point. Here4Views only 1 point away. But that's an early pick on Crandop. That does get VanirQuick in the door, but Here4Views, they still have a bit of an advantage, right? Natsuki's coming up on this beat a lot quicker than Rod FD is. Johan coming up on this Kitsune a lot quicker than Tomex is. There's ults coming online for Here4Views, even if VanirQuick are going to get early control point.
Yeah, VanirQuick now have Central Apan moving towards the objective. The rest of the team on Here4Views now grouped up and together, but yeah, as you said, that ultimate bank is going to be there for them, but doesn't matter if you don't have the player bank with the rest of you. Central Apan goes down eventually, but a couple of quick picks from VQ is going to help them in trying to stabilize here. Crandorp now looking for the engage once more, beat invested by Natsuki, and now they can look to get aggressive, but the Sundering Blade gets 2 once more, just completely ignores that sound barrier from Natsuki, now looking to try and take down the tank. They trust about stay alive as Kurama. Now the Kitsune invested, just trying to take over. Already 50% for VanirQuick. Now flips to Here4Views, but it took a lot for them to get here. Potentially coming back in. VanirQuick have a lot of ult coming up, and they already have this downpour to invest. Goes in, goes on to Crandorp. The bubble stays for now. This great grab for an even better beat to make sure they stay alive. Hurler finds one. The beat takes out Peekaboo, and eventually this tempo is going to go into the favor of Here4Views. They aren't able to stay with this damage. They flip the point, and potentially they flip the damage. Eventually it does fall back in, but that could be critical, flipping the point there partway through that fight.
Yeah, a little bit of point percentage there for VanirQuick is very, very helpful, and they do bait out a good number of ults. They bait out the sim wall, they bait out the grab. Rod FD does have to use beat, but oh, so what? Natsuki doesn't have beat of his own. VanirQuick have 2 ults available, and it's an advantage. Tomex starts us off with Kitsune early. It's on Hurler to land a massive artillery strike here.
Yeah, it doesn't quite get anything off the back of it. It's a 2-for-1 trade with the tank going down as well. Surely this should be in the favor of VanirQuick, but Hurler potentially looking for a hero play, not going to be allowed. It immediately shut down, and now comes the call to the objective. Elias trying to stand tall, but no way you're going to be able to survive that, as now it flips back to VQ.
Yeah, and VQ have the overclock if they want to use it. They can just hold a bit of an aggressive position, because Here4Views, they'll need to go for a touch. They have the sim TP to do so, but look how fast they're playing. Early overclock already from Peekaboo.
Crandop goes down so low, and now it's on to Natsuki to try and get there, but sniped out of the air by Peekaboo. Not allowed to touch this objective, and we're going the full 5 on Sorevasa. 2-2. The advantage now in the momentum
He's doing the splits.
goes into VQ's favor. And I think there's a couple of Here4Views fans watching that go the way of VanirQuick as it falls there. And 2-2 with the momentum for VQ, but a couple of ultimates coming up for Here4Views as they look to address this next objective.
Early downpour from Central Apan does find a few though. TP out is good, but Tomex lands the Natsuki traded by Yoham. The Krandop does go down. That downpour was absolutely massive from Central Apan. And VanirQuick, they're going to get control of the point yet again. Early control, very, very good. Coming up on a few ults as well, Kurama has this Sundering Blade, and we've seen how much he's been able to do with the Sundering Blade. Rod FD not too far away from the beat either. Natsuki and Yoham do have a little bit of a support lead at the moment. Herlop has that artillery strike ready to go. So we're going to imagine Yoham's just going to start us off with the Kitsune early, but collapsed by Peekaboo!
Peekaboo, that's huge! Absolutely massive takedown too, dies for it, but now they're able to fight forwards once again. Are Here4Views off of a miracle pick by Peekaboo. Eventually, it doesn't go the way of VQ. They're going to be sent packing. What a shot by Peekaboo, but at the end of the day, it is Here4Views that take out the objective.
It's not the end of the world though. The Sundering Blade was used by Kurama and just used it to get a little bit of damage off, try shred through some of the overhealth from Natsuki's sound barrier, but the sound barrier was forced. That's the important part for VanirQuick. They got a lot of percentage. Here4Views are just now matching it. They have the grab, they have the artillery strike, but Rod FD is going to have this beats matched. Peekaboo's going to build this overclock, and if his overclock shots are anything like his base rail shots, Here4Views have a lot to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. Built up to a rail and almost built up to this overclock, but they're able to get early pressure onto Kurama. Not expecting the drop down from the high ground of Krandorf, and now that attention falls onto Central Apan, not able to get away from the rest of the team. This could be devastating for VQ. Not able to invest too much, and with this artillery strike and grab still on the cards for Here4Views, it's going to be difficult to fight in as this last objective ticks down.
Honestly, I think you got to start with the overclock there. Just try to take some early space. Tomex goes for the Kitsune, but now problem is they need to look for a touch while Krandorf has this grab. Peekaboo's gone before he can even do anything with the overclock.
Yeah, this unfortunately looks like it does end here for VQ. Both supports caught inside of that gravity well, and the rest of the team not able to do too much either. The downpour, last hurrah for Central Apan, but it is going to be Here4Views taking their map pick of Survassa and staying alive as they look to get a reverse sweep on the board.
It's a frustrating map there for VanirQuick. Felt like they had the advantage going into the end there, but that Kitsune rush fight Kurama just got picked right at the start of it. Wasn't able to do too much. I mean, turns around that. I think they TP right into the Sundering Blade there. I think they do.
I think
but,
so.
Kurama gets picked when they use the Kitsune rush. Not ideal. You don't want your Vendetta going down like that. And maybe that's just the risk of not starting with the overclock. Just pop the overclock, get a little bit of space. Maybe you force out the grab, because I think grabbing the overclock just to shut it down is probably a bit more of a likely reaction than grabbing people in a Kitsune, to be honest. So I think maybe starting with the overclock maybe would have got them a little bit more value there. But Here4Views, they do come up huge. Herluf on that bash and going absolutely crazy, but it is going to be VanirQuick's pick coming up. They will get first ban as well, and importantly, D.Va's back on the table now. We can't forget that D.Va was banned that map. Not that Central Apan might have wanted to go for it, because it was against two beam characters. Wouldn't have been that fun to play against as the D.Va. Obviously, you know, D.Va into Zarya it's more of a skill matchup than people say. People say, oh, it's really D.Va favored, or it's really Zarya favored. It's a skill matchup, right? If you just stand in front of the Zarya and let yourself get beamed, of course you're gonna die, right? But you can matrix the Zarya and burn the balls and just nuke the Zarya because of how squishy she is. You can easily find a lot of value both sides of that matchup. But with the sim, the sim variable, I think would have been a little bit frustrating. So they may go for a sim ban on Runasapi here, VanirQuick, and just force the D.Va, even if it is a bit of a flat map. I am actually quite surprised they didn't go for Runasapi here, to be honest, considering how much success they had on the D.Va. Runasapi is much flatter. I think it might be a bit more advantageous for Herluf on that Bastion, but maybe they got something up their sleeve that I'm maybe not considering.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I'd be looking at is potentially Gibraltar. It's so difficult to play the Zarya into the D.Va when you're able to just take the high ground, but it's what you're able to do at the end of the day, and they will have control and map picks for the rest of this matchup. as Here4Views try to mount the comeback and get the reverse sweep on the cards. Runasapi is where we are going to next, and we should see soon what these two teams decide to ban. Just waiting on the ban from Here4Views, but once again, looks like they are able to dig their heels in on Suravasa, make a bit more of a series out of this, and I mean, two of these maps have been very close, and the other one it felt like Here4Views were in fact here for some views with that jetpack.
They took a map off.
Yeah, exactly. So they took.
They were powering up for the Suravasa. That's what they were doing.
Exactly.
They were powering up.
Unfortunately, they can't take another map off as VQ now stand 2-1 in favor. Lijiang Tower going their way by the same scoreline. Numbani quick 1-0, but their attacking side did have a little bit of time to get going, eventually finding it in the end. Suravasa then falling 3-2 to Here4Views, and now Runasapi on the cards. Should be an interesting one coming in here, especially as you said, with how flat this map is.
Yeah, I mean, Runasapi is like the flat push map, right? If you want to play like a Maga, you pick Runa. And VanirQuick, they do go for that symmetric ban. Speaking of the
you don't want to pick a Maga.
Yeah, but Here4Views definitely don't, and they don't want VanirQuick doing it either. I think the Maga ban is fine. Sure, I guess. I don't think VanirQuick are going to play it. They're just going to go Diva, right? You ban the
We've seen him come in though on Runasapi, especially in OWCS. It's now becoming not a mainstay, but definitely seen it a fair amount on this map in particular, especially out in NA. But Here4Views not having any of it and decide to shut it down before it can even be a plan in VanirQuick's eyesight. So Sim and Malga not going to be available for Runasapi, and I'd say once again this does favor VQ a little bit, just from the fact that they're able to have something banned out that they've seen Here4Views play into, seen Here4Views do well with, and VQ not really losing too much with that Malga being banned.
Yeah, I would definitely say that VanirQuick have come up on top with that with the bans there to get a close up of the little llama on Runasapi. Maybe it's like Alari's llama. What's it called, like Junior or something? This is the
Junior.
Alari map. Maybe, yeah. Maybe we'll get to see some Alari on the Alari map, I hope. Fortunately not. Gary Lucio is just broken. Why did I even let myself hope?
We're back in the building again, Sky Knight. We're not allowed to have nice things.
No prison. No fun. Only prison. But Central Apan not going for the Diva like I maybe expected. Clearly not wanting to favor the Diva on that kind of flat map. Instead going for a more traditional Zarya Vendetta composition. And I can hardly blame them. Central Apan has looked good on the Zarya, and Karama looked amazing on the Vendetta last map in particular. So I don't blame them for just trying to funnel Karama just a little bit. Find as much value as you can, particularly how strong Vendetta is. And, well, I mean, it's not like Zarya's weak either. Herlov's still on this Bastion, unsurprisingly. Time back in on this Tracer, though.
Yeah, looking to build forwards now. VanirQuick looking to get aggressive. Bubbling in Karama, as is usually the play, but Central Apan found waiting at the end of the map. Rod FD almost getting the boot off onto Krandorp, but a good offensive start there for Here4Views as they're able to take the aggression and then send it straight back into VanirQuick's faces.
I feel like VanirQuick, they're maybe just getting a little bit mind controlled by the Bastion at the moment. They go all in for Herlov, and yeah, I mean, sure, you get the elimination, but what does it matter? The rest of your team's already been taken down. You have to reset. Here4Views getting some early meterage on the push bot, and they're getting a bit of an ult lead as well already.
Yeah, they've been able to taxi Herlov back as well, so the Bastion's still there in their sights, and obviously Krandorp's going to have that beam energy lead going into this next fight. Just looking to stabilize here. VanirQuick looking to get forwards, but a big damage amount onto Karama. Can't save with that block, and once more it looks like it's in the favor of Here4Views. They take down Herlov, but once more, you're only finding Herlov in these fights. You've got to get the rest of the players down. You can't just go 1 for 5 here.
And that's the thing about the Bastion, right? Herlov, I mean, not even meaning this in a bad way, runs it down to kill Central Apan, gives his life for it, because, I mean, Bastion has the amount of HP you can do that. You're 350 with armor. Bastion can just go turret mode, absolutely run down a tank like Zarya, and given how squishy Zarya is, once there's no bubbles online, VanirQuick can just lay waste to him, and now Yoham is going to help Here4Views lay waste with the Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, and once again, they just gain the momentum. They're able to fight forwards, and the initial attack from Kurama goes absolutely wasted. Rest of the team sent packing once more, and even with the OC and the Kitsune Rush built on the side of VanirQuick, they're able to fight back quickly. They're willing to fight in aggressively here. Beat from Natsuki is going to help out Here4Views a lot, and Kurama going down once again. No look in for the Vendetta on this map. Tomek's falling as well isn't going to help VanirQuick, as they're now sort of trapped in this area of their own making. It's going to be their demise, and the snowball now from Here4Views is really impactful.
Yeah, and they do still have that grab available. They do have that grab artillery strike combo, and they could be looking for it here, but Krandop's 1 HP lands the grab onto so many, and there's the artillery strike right on the heads of Peekaboo and Rod FD, and there's no beat online for VanirQuick now, as Central Apan falls not so long after Kurama just about lives to tell the tale. Do they? Wait.
You've got to
the bubble is
The bubble's
huge!
going to save just about for Central Apan, but it's going to be the only miracle that they've had so far. VQ haven't really been able to do too much. Health pulse bomb in the hands of time. It's ticking down for VQ at the moment. Time is their worst enemy in 2 ways, but Central Apan able to take down Natsuki, and now with the ability to have that energy is going to be able to look forwards and try and get some picks off here. Yoham falling is going to spell the end of this snowball for now for Here4Views, but it's an absolute peak to climb for VanirQuick if they want to get back in.
Yeah, they basically got Everest times 1 billion to scale right now. Basically got it to the end, did Here4Views. They do still have the Pulse Bomb available as well if time wants to try and get cheeky. Maybe land that diff back onto Kurama, that the Flights DPS stuff that he's been looking for since Dumbani. But VanirQuick, they do have fuels of their own. They did use the Kitsune. Central Apan does have that grab. Kurama with the Summoning Blade, but goes to the grab early with Central Apan.
Yeah, and they're able to capitalize on it, eventually bring down those members of Here4Views stuck inside that grab. Rest of the team is going to fall eventually. Krandop's able to take one with him, but rest of the team going to go down to Central Apan, and that's a very good fight there. Make sure that the forward spawn is not going to be in control of Here4Views any longer.
It's a good trade by Krandop there, though. You know, you want clean fights if you're VanirQuick. If you've got this much to scale, you want to get Snowball going of your own, and now Rod FD does have to taxi back, meaning that Peekaboo will get back in time, but might not be in the spot that they specifically want to be in. Particularly as they do have the overclock. Maybe want to just get to a good position early, because now Yoham can maybe go for the Crusade, but that Summoning Blade from Kurama, gonna zone and it gets the kill into Hurl up as well.
Yeah, just forced back into this small room's not going to be the place that they want to be. Here4Views. Rest of the team going to fall once more, just trying to delay this TS1 bot as it marches towards the forward spawn for VanirQuick. They are looking at an alt Desposit coming in now, but at least they've got this forward spawn barrier point.
Yeah, a bit of an alt advantage for Here4Views at the moment. Yoham has that Kitsune. Tomix is getting close though, so VanirQuick, they might just look to give some space here. Try let Tomix farm that Kitsune. Maybe use the beat if you have to here though. But yeah, beat and overclock committed by VanirQuick early. Krandop goes for the grab. Yoham goes for the Kitsune as well. Bubble onto Rod FD, managed to help him out, and that's a nice shot from Yoham. Onto Yoham, sorry, by Peekaboo. Natsuki not long for as well either. Doesn't get the beat online.
Pretty much used by Here4Views as they look to get forwards, but Grav only finds one onto Rod FD, and the beat makes sure that the Lucio stays alive. The rest of the team collapsing onto the other members of Here4Views. And now with the beat and artillery form in the back pocket, they look to fight forwards. Hurlef diving in on the Bastion. He said it didn't have mobility, but there we go. Beat invested, but not enough to save the Bastion at the end of the day. Peekaboo goes down, so it's a 1-for-1 trade on the DPS, but the rest of the team looking to front up here for VQ. They're cautious of time. They're making sure they can't get the better of them in the backline. Tomix with the Suzu to save, and now with Krandop gone, they can focus their sights onto Yoham, and now time falling low as well. Rod FD just about able to stay alive, and this mountain's looking a bit smaller here.
Yeah, they're approaching the peak at the moment. Kurama has that Sundering Blade ready to go as well. Perloff and Time do have their ults available, and they need to come up huge, but they're low value ults. Suzu kind of negates both of them single-handedly. Need to force that out, and Perloff's already under a lot of pressure from Kurama here.
Yeah, and the sound barrier just about stays and make sure that they have the sustainability. Peekaboo was down so low before that, but once again, they're finding the kills here for VanirQuick, where it looked like it was out of control for Here4Views. Now the peak is in reach. The summit is in their hands, and look at that glowing barrier. Now it's the time for Here4Views to just TP and get in out of the point. The Sundering Blade is there, takes down Yoham immediately. No Kiriko for this next fight on the objective. 1-for-1 trade for Natsuki, and it's following that basis at the moment. They're just about able to hold on to the slender lead that they now have. Here4Views, they force Rod FD back, and time just about ends up in their favor as they look to fight forward, but no ultimates apart from a grab coming up soon.
Absolutely massive by Herloff and Natsuki there. Herloff gets the initial touch, and then Natsuki gets the pick onto Peekaboo, which lets Here4Views win that fight out. Crandop coming up on this grab, might just want to use it. Needs to kite out a little bit. Kurama piling on the pressure, but that's a nice pick from Tomex. Absolutely huge.
They're fighting forwards once more. They're getting these trades. It's 4 for 3 right now. Peekaboo evening the numbers up even better for VQ. Yoham surely falls. And once more, they're able to bring the bot forwards. It's a quick spawn for time, so able to get back and maybe stall out here, looking to get forwards, force the recall immediately. Overclock pop now for Peekaboo. They look to get past this wall that they've got right in front of their faces. They know the peak is here. Can they climb it now? Herloff TPing up to the high ground, trying to get something in there, but doesn't have any way of doing too much damage. They're waiting for Central Apan to come back now. There's a stall as they kite out from this Kitsune rush.
Yeah, both loose teals coming up on their beat soon as well. Natsuki maybe got a small lead, currently 15% ahead. Basically has the beat ready to go. Does Natsuki. Kurama does have that Sundering Blade though to rip through that overhealth. An advantage that VanirQuick have over Here4Views at the moment, but time can maybe level the playing field with the pulse bomb, but the bubble is huge by Central Apan.
Yeah, and immediately Kurama pops that Sundering Blade once more, trying to get something, gets one onto Herloff. Now they look to engage with that beat, but it's matched in kind by Rod FD, fighting forwards once more, and it looks like it's in the favor of VanirQuick, where it looked like they had nothing in this fight. 140-0. Now time is the only thing that stands between them and victory. Surely they get forward. Herloff's back out of spawn, trying to control this objective, not able to stay alive long enough. It's not quite on the point. They're able to touch, but the grab is there. Now drags in Crandorp. 21 seconds left. Surely they have this in their hands. Time's able to get out, just taken down immediately.
How is it going?
And now they have the lead. They've taken the advantage. It's in their hands. Herloff now trying to keep everything in their favor. Overtime surely on the cards here, as it looks like it's going in the favor of Here4Views just about, but maybe not. Tomex has come back on the jetpack cat. Not something you see often. Kurama trying to keep him at bay. Is able to take down Crandall. They're able to engage back in the 4 stand for Here4Views, but the mountain now is in their hands. The peak has instead turned into their doom, and they need to fight back the entire way of the map now.
That must be so frustrating for Here4Views. You finally win the fight and you're 18 centimeters away from victory. That's so frustrating. They do have tools to help them make some headway though. Crandop has that grab. Central Apan nowhere near, but Peekaboo with the overclock can end things right now.
Oh, they try to go in though. The pulse grab is huge. Time binding 3 with the ticking bomb. Central Apan cleaned up as well, and Crandorp falling, Tomex falling to
Good trades, though.
At the end of the day, you lose Natsuki, you lose Herloff, but not the worst thing in the world, and now you have a Kitsune rush as you look to fight forwards.
Yeah, but Kurama does have this Sundering Blade, and the real issue isn't the immediate ults available, it's the ults that are going to come online in this fight, right? Tomex might build that Kitsune in time, Central Apan might build that grab in time, and it's a question of if VanirQuick can get those future ults online, because you would expect with the Kitsune advantage that Here4Views is going to take this fight home.
Yeah, nothing to save. Yoham just can't get out of the sight. Peekaboo gets traded out though onto Natsuki, and it's a huge death bottom there from Herloff. Kurama looking to even it up, but Central Apan's
solo beat.
The beat invested solo beat from Rod FD. Surely they're feeling the pressure now. VanirQuick, you have to get back out of there. Can't first time brings him down, and now it falls onto VanirQuick. They've fought back so hard to get into this. They just about touch, do they? Surely, yes. They're able to get back, but Central Japan's now on the Doomfist to get outspawned. Crandall finds Tom X and looking to get forward now. Natsuki is on this jetpack cat. It's all falling into the favor of Here4Views. They look down and out in this one. Surely neither team knows when they're beaten. Peekaboo looking to peek round the corners, but it falls eventually. It looked like we were going straight to a 5-map series off of the first few fights. VanirQuick struggled back over the entire map, but eventually in overtime, the final stand of Here4Views launches and is able to get them another fight in this series. So we head on to the last payload map type.
I mean, that's why, like, push is probably the best game mode in the entire game, to be honest. Like, no other game mode has that. That was insane. It looked like VanirQuick were just down and out, right? They were finished, right? But they somehow managed to push back after Here4Views stalled for what felt like 20 business days on their side of the spawn. They get an 18-centimeter lead, and then somehow are able to push it on the other way to the side of the map to the enemy team's spawn. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. That final fight, Rod FD dropping the solo beat. I think he tried to get Kurama in the beat, and it wasn't even the end of the world because he did manage to force Natsuki's beat, which I think maybe he thought Kurama got the beat or something, but I don't know. I mean, both Lucios kind of fumbling their beats a little bit, in my opinion, but it ended up being costly for VanirQuick because they couldn't re-engage with the beat of their own, and maybe that would have been a little bit more valuable because they would have been up in numbers, right? They would have been they had a small numbers advantage coming out of spawn, right? They had to touch, but they would have had the beat engage to get out there. Sure, Natsuki would have mirrored it a few seconds later, but at least they would have had some kind of buff going into a chaotic final contest. So close for VanirQuick there, but we are going to go to a map 5, and where else but Watchpoint Gibraltar?
Yeah, so close yet so far, and it felt like they were trying to win it outright in every single fight that they were going for. VanirQuick potentially could have been better served, just building up those ultimates, but at the end of the day, you've lost the map, you've got to move on and calm that mental, get forwards. Watchpoint Gibraltar is going to help them a lot. We've seen Cran do better on this Zarya that they've been running the last couple of maps instead of that D.Va, but surely it favors the D.Va here now in this high ground struggle that is Watchpoint Gibraltar. Yes, you do have ways to get up to the high ground now. Yes, you do have differences in the map, but the same still rings true that it's potentially mostly a dive composition favored map. And that's really going to be a struggle for Here4Views with what they've wanted to play so far this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a struggle for Herluf in particular, right, on this Bastion. Going to be a big struggle because you want to run the Bastion, right? You might want to even go for the cat, but I mean, we saw how that went on Numbani, right? it didn't go too great, right? But I could maybe stick with the Bastion. We did see him go over to the Reaper. Did see him go over to the Reaper at one point, so maybe he might even go for that. But the lack of a traditional hit scan on a map like Watchpoint Gibraltar is going to be a bit of a challenge because, like, sure, you can maybe run like a ball, Tracer Sombra type thing, but that's not been meta for quite a while. And I mean, not that Here4Views clearly care too much about the meta, right? They're running Bastion, but it could be something you could go for. But I just don't think it's in the hero pool of Here4Views. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure, but given what we've seen so far, I don't see them going for that kind of composition, and I think that's maybe their best bet because you're going to expect Central Japan to go onto that D.Va. Arguably should have went onto the D.Va on Runasapi, decided not to for whatever reason. It almost worked out, but in the end just didn't come up the way the VanirQuick wanted. But you're going to expect them to be on the D.Va this time. I feel like this map pick by VanirQuick is very good, and I honestly don't know what Here4Views can really do about it.
Yeah, that is the difference. I mean, the question is, why wouldn't you have gone for that after Suravasa? But Runasapi, you allow yourself, you feel like you're comfortable somewhat on that map, and now you go into Watchpoint Gibraltar, which really feels like it should be the final nail in the coffin, but you never know. There's some maps that just don't go to plan. Overwatch isn't played on paper, it's played in the server, and as we see, the bans definitely aren't that.
Yeah, W bans from both teams. They couldn't be anything better. And the jetpack cam ban from VanirQuick is excellent, in my opinion. Herlif wants to go on the Bastion, we know it, right? Denying that cat just removes that unpredictable variable that Here4Views could go for. It forces Natsuki to stay on that Lucio, maybe go to the Brig, maybe even the Wu Yang. Just point is, forces them off the cat, right? Stops the flying Bastion tech that they want to go for. And I think the hazard ban by Here4Views it's okay. I guess like it's okay.
It
I
stops
don't
a
think it
different
really
option, right?
It stops a different option. I would have maybe honestly went for the Sojourn ban because I think Peekaboo has looked best on the Sojourn compared to something like the Emre. Has looked a little bit better on the Sojourn throughout the series. Clearly more comfortable on the Sojourn as well, favoring that on basically every single map, right? So I think the Sojourn ban might have been a little bit higher value, but I don't blame them for the hazard ban. I just don't think Central Apan will play it. I think Central Apan will just go for the D.Va here.
Yeah, I think it should be standard as much as VanirQuick looks at it. And Here4Views, well, we're not quite sure what they're going to run out with, but Gibraltar has a few ways of running about it, and most of them funnel through the dive composition. We'll see if Krandorp decides to go back to that D.Va that we saw mirrored on the start of Numbani before switching over to that hazard. But once again, they have the opportunity to fight into this with a fair few beams, and if they can get maybe a couple of clutch Symmetra TPs, you don't know what could happen. That's back on the cards for Here4Views as we go into this fifth and final map. The reverse sweep still there for Here4Views if they're able to pull this off.
I do feel like Here4Views have maybe kind of like banned themselves out a little bit because Krandorp like looked all right on the hazard, you know what I mean? Clearly was comfortable on that hazard. We've not seen Central Apan actually go for it yet, so I think the hazard ban, now that I think about it, it's a little bit interesting for Here4Views. I feel like it's kind of pointless. Maybe Central Apan
we did
has a
see it
crazy
on
hazard in the
Suravasa. We
True,
saw it on
that is true
Suravasa.
actually. It's true, that is true, but I feel like I don't think it found too much success personally. I don't think Central Apan found as much success as he has on other tanks like the D.Va, like we are finally seeing now. Krandorp on that Winston, and despite all odds, they're keeping Herlif in and they're going for the Bastion.
Carry break now.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Yoham has been excellent.
It's mostly a bunker, right? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really play too much of a bunker with the Winston. You know, you want to have Winston, you want to have Krandorp in time, kind of just pressuring the front line as much as they can, and then the carry is just able to, you know, land those Suzus, help out Herlif where they can, and Natsuki can deny the D.Va value. I think the Brig pick is very, very good here. It's kind of necessary, to be honest. So the backline does kind of want to play clumped, play like a bunker, and enable Herlif as much as they feasibly can, because it will be difficult on a map like Watchpoint Gibraltar. But that's nicely laid out the spawn, getting 20% ult charge for Herlif in 10 seconds.
Well, we'll see if this will be a finality for VanirQuick or whether it will be the reverse sweep that was promised for Here4Views now. They look to fight forwards once more. Herlif raining down the bullets from the high ground, but good kite at the moment as the payload heads underneath for the first time. And now Krandorp looking to get aggressive. It's going to be forced backwards, looking to maintain this high ground. Are Here4Views. The rest of the team cut off a little bit, and now they look to engage onto Rod, FD, and Tomix in the backline. Krandorp looking to get back once more, just diving in and out, making sure there's not too much damage onto the Winston. But now here's the enrage from Central Apan, trying to find something onto Natsuki, but the Brig has been able to mitigate most of it. Peekaboo's been able to take out Herlif, but Krandorp finding Tomix, potentially the bigger pick, although it's going to take a while for this Bastion to come back in. Central Apan just about staying in there. Central Apan just there, but it's a DPS line of VanirQuick that are going to take advantage of this. Yes, Peekaboo goes down, but Rod FD flies in with the quick melee, able to take out the trade. And now they look to fight forwards once more. No Yoham in this fight, and even with the turret form, just able to be defense matrixed up. Time goes down to Tomix, and Herlif just hurls himself into the payload. It's going to be a quick first take for VanirQuick.
Yeah, look what happens when you split up that backline of Here4Views, right? Central Apan goes very aggressively onto Natsuki. Natsuki manages to sustain the dive, but what happens is during that, no break present, Peekaboo and Rod FD are just able to get to an angle where they can poke out Herlif and then eventually take him down with the burst damage that Sojourn has. And, you know, that's the problem with this kind of comp. But Grandop early pick onto Peekaboo, and that's not good for VanirQuick considering Tomex is committed to Kitsune.
Yeah, both Kitsune's invested now, so 1-for-1 trade perhaps lends better, at least if they lose this fight, and that they do. Herluf looking dominant at the moment on this Bastion. Just trying to get away Central Apan, but maybe an overuse there of that bomb.
Is it a swap?
Looking to not get staggered? Or is it a swap?
That's okay. That bomb was very questionable from Central App, and in my opinion, I don't think that was necessary at all. Just take the reset. I guess you don't want to get staggered, but like, I don't think it's worth an ult, to be honest. You have a healthy time bank. I don't know if that was truly necessary. Here4Views, they do have a few ults available at the moment. Maybe just look to go very aggressive with the Primal Rage. Could Grandop, but Rod FD has the beat to navigate that. Peekaboo has the overclock as well, and maybe they'll start with that, but early rally on the ground by Natsu.
Yeah, Rod FD going down to Grandop though is going to help them a ton Here4Views. They managed to split off Tom X and Peekaboo from the rest of the team. Taken down as well, Tom X. Peekaboo not quite able to get to that health pack, instead grabbed up by Grandop, and once more it's only Central Apan on this baby diva going to be dealt with quickly.
Yeah, and again, a good little hold here Here4Views, and I think it's quite understandable considering there's not many positions that VanirQuick can take, and they all kind of lead into Herluf on this Bastion, who's just able to kind of hold the fort quite easily. Still has this artillery strike ready to go. Grandop has that primal as well. But the clock is ticking for VanirQuick. They still have 3 ults available, and it's time to just open up the ult bank and get some use, to be honest. And there we go, Peekaboo starts with the overclock.
Yeah, early overclock now,
doesn't
able to get up the high ground, but doesn't get the beat because of the bubble from Grandop. And now surely this leans into the favor once more of Here4Views. They're able to get some aggression onto the Winston, but the primal's there if they need it. Eats the pulse from time, so it's flipping back in their favor in terms of the momentum of this fight, and they're able to stall it out here. If they can get Peekaboo back, could be in their favor. Time looking to put some aggression onto Central Apan, and are able to force them back once more. Now a quick re-engage is here, and they can't pop that primal from Grandop. Now they can take the aggression without the tank presence of the Winston. The Kitsune rush invested, but surely that's in poor taste. Time getting one onto Rod FD in the backline, but the rest of the team is surely going to go down here. Time has to invest that. They're able to get back Grandop as well. They're still holding on to this objective somehow. Grandop with the primal just going to back away for now. Wait for the rest of the team to come back. Peekaboo, having not been able to finish off time, is going to be coming back from the spawn doors, but hopefully should be back quickly for VanirQuick. Shuttle control is now fully theirs as the battle comes back in from Here4Views. The rest of the team now there. This artillery is there at their disposal, but this VanirQuick Kitsune should be huge for them. The stick as well. Peekaboo make sure that Herluf can't do anything in this fight. Now the primal invested by Grandop, looking to stall for some time. Central Apan has to back away for now, but the beat is huge from Rod FD. It allows them to keep this aggression up. Grandop surely not much time left on this objective, and Herluf being the last one standing once again after the first objective, just hurling himself down, trying to stall for as long as possible. About 2.5 minutes for VanirQuick going into this third objective.
Yeah, and credit to Here4Views, they did manage to get so much time off that time bank. VanirQuick, they went in with about, what, 4.5 minutes or something like that to that second area of Watch Punch Gibraltar, and I want to know, has Herluf actually used this all yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It is
not to my knowledge,
so
at least.
It is fair enough. Through the floor there, secret technology. Central Apan does clean up Herluf. Central Apan getting another kill onto Natsuki as well, but it's looking good for Here4Views at the moment. Getting a lot of kills. Time coming up absolutely huge alongside his tank. Grandop is Here4Views. They are just going to get stable on the car right now. But VanirQuick, they're going to come back with a few ults. Central Apan has this Diva Bomb. Karma has the Pulse Bomb. We've seen what he's been able to do with these Pulse Bombs so far. Peekaboo has the overclock ready to go as well, and you'd imagine they'll just start with the overclock, swing the corner with the clock, try and get as much value as you can.
Yeah, goes down low though, has to back up. Rest of the team putting a lot of
Massive
pressure in. They
pulse.
don't get the pulse stick, but they're able to get the kill off the back of it onto Herluf once more. Sent into the ground permanently after the glitch. Sent him partially in there. Grandop finding one, but Apan goes onto the high ground, takes down Yoham, and then straight back down to make sure that Crandorp falls. The pulse goes white from time as well. Now with a minute left, surely Herlof's got to use an ultimate sometime in this match?
Please use your ult, Herlof, please, for the love of God. You know, the ultimate button's calling. Central Afan has the remake, but he doesn't even care about his ult. Why go artillery mode when you have the turret mode?
Yeah, and the turret mode within this Kitsune Rush is going to force them away. Good kite from VanirQuick.
Finally.
Means that they can get away, and there is that ultimate from Herlof. Doesn't find a kill, but it gets him down so low, and the sweep up from Time and Cran is very good. The Kitsune invested is allowing them to get back onto Time, and now with this sound barrier, they're able to fight forwards, and it's going in their favor. They managed to find the kills here for VanirQuick as they look to fight once again. Yoham taking Rod FD down low, but Central Apan's there to clean it up. The primal raids there from Crandorp, the only thing standing between VanirQuick and a full capture. Now forced to go back onto the objective. No primal there for the Winston. Krama shuts it down. The beat's there, but not in time for the monkey. Central Apan forced away by Natsuki. They're looking to stall for time here, but how much can they do? They're just about here for now. It's a re-contest of what it looked like on Bruna Sapi. Crandall comes out on the Diva, just looking to get out, saves time. Time gets, Herlof gets one. Crandall able to find Tomex, but surely they're able to burn down Crandall quick enough. Tomex gets the TP out. It's 1-for-1 for Here4Views, and now Natsuki's the next one to get his life in. Herlof goes down low, not able to get that. Eventually, and finally, after what's felt like ages, VanirQuick in overtime and get the full capture of the whole three. And for Here4Views, wasn't the defense side that we were worried about as much for them. It was the attacking side, as now they look to fight forwards with potentially a Bastion, if not, could be that Reaper that we saw the switch onto right at the end.
Here4Views might be like the best stalling team in the entire world, to be honest. That was absolutely outrageous from them. It happened on Bruna Sapi, and it happened right there. Right, you know how Vendetta got nerfed to not be able to use her sword throw out of spawn? Maybe we should do that with Kuroko's TP as well, to be honest. Because the amount of times Yoham just died, TP'd back, died, TP'd back in that final fight, I think he got 3 deaths in that final fight alone. The amount of times he was able to do that was absolutely ridiculous. Not going to be doing any of that now on the Ana for the attack. Maybe just a nade out of spawn though. Has looked really good on the Kuroko so far. I think the Kuroko could maybe be a little bit preferred. The Nano onto the Winston is very, very strong. It can be quite a fight winner. But the Kitsune rushes from Yoham have been absolutely massive. Particularly alongside a Bastion, right? Turret form Bastion in that Kitsune rush. So much pressure you can put on in that ultimate, right? Central Apan will just always have to DM it or just kite out fully, to be honest. But yeah, okay, there's the Kuroko swap. Does Yoham. But Herlof staying on this Bastion, no Reaper shenanigans for the time, as nothing else really seems to be changing on either team at the moment.
Yeah, Apan stops the attempt to get onto the high ground initially. He's going to have to use the boosters to get back off if needed. A nice move down from Natsuki, but they're looking to build once more. Crandall goes around the corner, tries to get some cleave damage onto Central Apan, but Apan's having none of Herlof's shenanigans right now. Full defense matrix for the Bastion. Now looking to fight forwards once more, just making sure that the bot doesn't get too far. As Peekaboo looks to pop ahead around the corner with the help of Karama, takes down Time. Surely that's a big time breaker for Here4Views as they get one. Herlof takes down Peekaboo, but the rest of the team doesn't follow. That is a big pick though. Central Apan losing the mech is going to be difficult and decides, you know what, go for the reset. It's not worth trying to stay here with just the Baby Diva.
Yeah, I think the reset decision is good from Central Apan because Here4Views, they do still have a little bit of a way to push the card, but the problem is now Here4Views can get some early scaling, early positioning. Groundhog, you see him there by the blue boxes. Time as well, fighting for server room control alongside Herlof, who gets the kill onto Karama. Herlof putting on a lot of pressure. Central Apan has returned, but they're now down the Tracer.
Yeah, should get back pretty quickly, as we can already see respawned, and now trying to get back into this one. 2.5 minutes now to get this across the line for Here4Views to start off this, as they must get full 3 to be able to stay alive in this series. Central Apan losing the mech though, and that surely spells doom for VanirQuick. A nice grenade as well stuck onto Peekaboo. The rest of the team just trying to stay in this. Kurama forces a little bit more time off the clock, but 4.5 minutes is about where we were looking at for VanirQuick's attacking side.
Yeah, Here4Views is doing very, very well on that attack, just burning down Central Apan, and Herloff on this bash when we were worried about it on the attack, but just finding so much space, and that's what being a specialist can do. You can make it work on any map, but the Peekaboo overclock could come up hugely here as he looks to scale early into the Mega Room, it looks like, but Herloff pick onto Tomex somehow.
Yeah, Tomex goes down to Herloff, just maybe peeking a little bit too aggressively, but the trades go back into the favor of VanirQuick. Not for long, though. Central Apan tries to stay alive with the Diva Bomb, but no, not able to get back into the mech in time. Is absolutely dominating on this Tracer at the moment. Helped with a bit of help from friends, but able to get that down. It's a nice ult bank here for Here4Views as well as they look to continue the snowball.
Yeah, they basically have 5 ults available. There it is. There's Nasuki getting the beat. VanirQuick, they can maybe look for a beat engage or something just to try force out a number of ults from Here4Views. Hope they can maybe catch them off guard or something. Kurama needs to land his pulse bomb. It needs to be huge, but Johan starts with Kitsune.
Yeah, Kitsune Rush invested from both sides. Pulse bomb goes wide from Kurama, doesn't find anything. Now the 4-man beat invested from Rod FD, trying to get back away, just trying to find some safe haven. Kurama, make sure that there's none for Herloff, and now in the 4v4, they're going to get their players back a little bit quicker than Here4Views. That artillery invested now from the depths of spawn, trying to make sure that no one's left on the point. Peekaboo takes down 2, but can't stop the train of Here4Views, so they're able to get onto third quickly. Now VanirQuick in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, they've got 4 minutes to stop Here4Views not getting the same success as they had on the second point, and this Bastion's found a lot of success at the moment. Crandop as well on this Winston has been absolutely huge, locking down so many areas, just zoning away Peekaboo. Feels like Peekaboo's not really had a look in this entire game, and Crandop still has this primal ready to go. Peekaboo coming up on another overclock as Central Apan makes the spot to Auger of all things.
Yeah, Peekaboo's overclock finds the first onto time, now looks to slide forwards and take down Herloff as well. Not able to get away as the Bastion. Now the sights are set onto Natsuki, who falls once more, and Kran's hiding. Do they know? Do they know? They're able to get their Kran going down so low, but the bubble's going to save. They have to pop the Primal pop there is huge. Make sure that you have to use it to stay alive here, and they're chasing down Crandall, trying to get away desperately. The rest of the team is back here now, and you can see that the Bastion has been forced off. Crandall able to find the low target of Tomex, and then that recall used by Kurama as well, finally found by Herloff. So back with the momentum for Here4Views as they look to progress towards the final point with about 3 minutes left.
Tomex is coming up on the Kitsune though. Both Kiriko's very, very close. Both losers getting close to their beat as well. Right after a little bit of an advantage, but both sports are down for VanirQuick at the moment. Kurama's going down for a use pulse bomb as well.
The pulse bomb is so difficult to not stick a Malga in that situation. And Peekaboo's not able to get out of spawn, so 3:58 on the clock for Here4Views. We worried about their attack inside, but it seems like they had all bases covered, and even with 44 kills for Central Apan, a fair amount of those came from that valiant defense of Here4Views, and this is fine. This is fine for VanirQuick. We've seen them come back from worse, but the rest of the team's just got to smarten up a little bit and make sure that they can play this out. They need a good push here from their attacking side to make sure that they can hold the pressure in, as I believe that they are going to be attacking first.
They need to come up with something a little bit inventive, do VanirQuick here, because I mean, if we look at the tab screen, right, they have better stats, like undeniably. I mean, Herloff has 15 deaths in 13 minutes or 14 minutes, right? So it's clear that Herloff is not surviving, but the problem is they're investing so much into Herloff that it just allows Crandrop and Time in particular to just roam free. Crandrop going absolutely crazy, Time going absolutely crazy as well, and I mean, that's a big problem when you have a Winston and Tracer just doing whatever they want because you're so laser focused on stopping the Bastion from getting value. It's difficult to handle. And, you know, VanirQuick, they're not going to be used to be playing against a Bastion on Gibraltar, because who does that? It's not strong. It's not what people play, for good reason. But when nobody plays it, you don't really know how to navigate it. You don't really know how to play against it too well. And you can tell VanirQuick are struggling. You can tell they don't know what to do at the moment. The Central Apan is nuked to half HP already.
Yeah, Kurama can't really focus down either with that health. They're able to stay up here. Peekaboo playing Peekaboo with Crandor, but looking to get away now, and it's the Suzu and TP invested from Tomex just to make sure the hit scan DPS stays alive. Now the chase down onto Kurama from time, but forced back towards the objective with that recall. They look to find Herluf. Herluf finds himself off the edge of the maps. Apan, though, has to be careful not to lose the mech here, just about able to stay in it, but not at the cost of Tomex, sorry. 10 seconds left, someone's going to have to push towards the car. And that surely seems like it should be Kurama. Time looking to put some pressure onto Peekaboo on the back lines, able to get that health pack back, and Apan's lost mech here. This could be devastating. Johan going down to Rod FD, though, is a good start to fight out this next objective. 4 stacked onto the cart pretty much. As the drop in from Herluf is going to do a lot of damage. Apan fights back, and they found Crandor. This could be huge for them. Apan pumped down low. Time taking down the opposing Tracer as well. So a lot of picks to keep an eye on. Herluf back once more. Big grenade onto Peekaboo, but Central Apan's there. They don't have the turret form for the moment. Now it comes on to someone else to touch. Central Apan can't go for these dives and aggression onto Herluf without leaving the objective, and you need someone to get aggressive here. Kitsune Rush has been built for Tomex.
Big stick!
And big stick from kill from Tomex, but it's a bigger stick event. The initial from Kurama. They lose Crandorf and Herluf, and they look to use this momentum in their favor. The red wave comes in their favor, and the team kill bell rings out. This could be everything that VanirQuick needed. They need to get some time here on the, well, some space here on the clock with the time that they have left, which is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and Here4Views, they have 3 ults available. Crandop has this primal ready to go. Won't go down to Kurama's massive pulse bomb just like he did last fight. And double support ult available for Here4Views. Sure, Rod FD has the beat, but the Kitsune advantage might just be too much. Nobody gets beat though!
Yeah, no one gets beat. And Crandor goes down early. Kurama, and now with Peekaboo's overclock, just about able to stay alive, getting around the corner. Time trying desperately to take him down. Kurama gets the trade though onto the opposing Kiriko. Rod FD falls to Herluf, so now it's all onto Tomex to stay alive in this fight. Just about able to keep it there, but Time is chasing down. Time's hunting and finally takes down Tomex. This race is going huge. Stick onto the mech of Central Apan. The D-mech is there. They've still got someone there, but no, eventually Kurama does fall. That's going to be all they get. VanirQuick, they do get the first objective, but it's going to have to be a mighty hold here to make sure that the reverse sweep doesn't go in Here4Views' favor.
The Tracers that push right there, going absolutely massive. First Kurama clutching up for VanirQuick, landing that pulse bomb, taking down, or basically taking down Grandop, and then Time in that final fight. Absolutely mental. Gets the pick onto Peekaboo, manages to contest the cart while pressuring Tomex, eventually gets the elimination onto Tomex, then lands the pulse onto Central Apan, which makes him lose his mech, and then that's all she wrote for VanirQuick. Absolutely amazing work from the Here4Views Tracer right there. Time went absolutely crazy. And speaking of time, look how much time the Here4Views have in their time bank to get a reasonable push. You know, VanirQuick, they got a respectable push with the amount of time they had. They only had 1 minute, right? But Here4Views, they're basically just doing another attack. They only lost 2 seconds. In the grand scheme of things, that doesn't really mean anything, right? It would take a massive hold for VanirQuick to really get anything going, because we saw them steamroll the first point on their first attack, right? They really steamrolled the first point. Seemed kind of similar there. They didn't really take too long. They maybe took about 2.5 minutes to capture that first objective, but they really struggled to stop Here4Views on that first point.
Yeah, and the attack was so dominant from Here4Views. They're going to look to do the same here as they storm out with the same 5. VanirQuick know what's coming, but immediately Kurama under so much pressure, just about able to get away, but now Time is hunting. And it's the 1-2 punch of the DPS of Here4Views that are trying to get it done, but Peekaboo is able to match it in kind. Crandall down to 14, falls low in the first fight. Looks like it's going in the favor of VanirQuick. It's going to need a lot of these, but it's a good start as they look to maintain control here of this objective and make sure they can't go through. Kurama going down is going to be big. Time just absolutely decimating on the Tracer, but the rest of the team not going to be coming out of Swarm for a quick second for Here4Views.
Grandop going deep in. Whoa, that was way too aggressive for his team. Time forced to recall as well. Little shot there from, I think, Tomex. But way too aggressive from Grandop there, and it gives time for Karam to come back, and it kind of undoes the work that Time just did get in that trade. VanirQuick coming up on a couple of ults at the moment. Bit of a support lead in the Kirkwood environment for Tomex right now. Has a bit of a lead over Yoham, and Herlock needs to be careful in that Sojourn Disruptor shot, taking so much damage. His central app and just matrices right in his face. Both these tracers dueling it out on the cart. Recall forced for Kurama's. Peekaboo's maybe looking to get a little bit of support, but Time has built this pulse bomb.
Yeah, and with
Rod
these
FD?
ults, as Rod FD goes down early, and that's going to be huge for them, and all of them fall one after the other. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. It's a rough time. Central Apan just looks to take as much time off of the cart as possible, but 2 minutes left to get not far, only 40 meters of this second objective to go for Here4Views.
Are they letting them get it?
They kind of have to. There's not a good fight back in. So they have to stand tall here on the second objective. About 40 meters left. It's going to be difficult as Time goes hunting once again. Apan just trying to stall out here as much as possible. The overclock there for Peekaboo, but Kurama going down early is not going to help. Randall looking to put so much pressure in. Just about staying alive, but they've been able to take him down. Now the fight falls towards the objective. Is someone there going to be able to touch Rod FD sliding in on the Lucio? But Central Apan's fallen to Time, and now with this Kitsune rush, surely it's in the hands of Here4Views. Rod FD trying to do as much as possible. The beat invested the sound barrier, but now it's matched in turn from Natsuki. It's the last gasp contest from Tomex, just looking to stay alive, but it's not going to be the case. Now, Kurama, what can you do on the Tracer? Can you have the heroics of Time? They've allowed Central Apan to come back, and Time does fall, but surely Kurama's going to follow soon enough. And surely this feels like it's going to be it for Here4Views. A dominant effort on their first attacking side, as it all comes down to this, and eventually it is going to fall. The reverse sweep for Here4Views. It looked like they were bags up against the wall a couple of times in this matchup, but eventually they do stand tall off the back of Time and Crandall on this final map of Watchpoint Gibraltar. 60 kills for Apan. I don't know what more they could have done on this Diva, but at the end of the day, it does fall to Here4Views, and a 3-game losing streak now for VanirQuick. Hopefully they'll be able to get things back into their favor and get something back next week, so I believe there are a couple of matchups coming against, let me check this real quickly. One against El Mojito on Wednesday, and then one against High Rollers on Friday. So they're going to look to build back into the season, but where it started so well, just a little bit of a fall off, as they've fought some stronger teams, and the 2-4 record of Here4Views isn't necessarily a call of how good they've been, because they've come up against a fair few strong teams in this season so far. And VanirQuick just trying to get some momentum back in. Looked like they were going to take this 3-0, but at the end of the day, Here4Views able to stand the test and make sure that they were able to take the win out today.
Yeah, I mean, that could not have been closer. Like, you look at every single map, right? Lijiang, very, very close. Very, very close. Numbani, well, let's not get into Nobody. But somehow it was still relatively close, right? But VanirQuick almost managed to fumble it somehow. Look at the other rounds here: 2-3 on Suravasa, or 3-2 on Suravasa for Here4Views. So close going to those 5 points. Runasapi, one of the closest Runasapis I've ever seen, going spawn to spawn in overtime for Here4Views, and then a 4-5 on Watchpoint Gibraltar. It was so close, and I think in that final point, they do let them cap the point, but the problem is after that, you have a trek all the way to come back, right? You either lose the game there, or try clutch it out, hold the objective, or it's kind of like, it's a battle of attrition if you let them cap the point, and you're never going to win it if you're the defending team there. But credit to Here4Views getting that reverse sweep. Very, very resilient considering how close every single map was, but it's those tiny little clutches that came through on every single map by certain players. Time on Watchpoint Gibraltar, we said it multiple times, absolutely ballistic on that Tracer in the overtime. It's like the clutch gene just activated on Here4Views, and it was it was a good, very good attempt by VanirQuick, but I think the abnormality of the Bastion as well on that watch point Gibraltar maybe just helped Here4Views just about bring it over the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, make sure you guys give some love over to these two teams, because what a series that was, and a few good series to come. But as you guys show some love to the teams, we're going to show some love to the guys that brought you this stream today for the VanirQuick channel. Luau producing, of course, you've had me